House Chairperson, Deputy Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Honorable Peace Mabe, Ministers and other Deputy Ministers here present, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Sport, Arts and Culture, Honorable Joseph Maglua, Honorable Members, Chairpersons and Chief Executives of public entities, distinguished guests, Khoisan leaders, the President of SASCOC, President of ASA, Presidents of all cultural organizations. As I start, I would like to tell you about the power of sport, arts and culture. Living just a few houses from me was a young man who dedicated himself to sport. While we both had talent, I chose gangsterism and a life of crime, and he chose sport. That boy was Willem Jackson, and he ended up playing for Bafana Bafana at the FIFA World Cup. Sport took Ashwin Willems out of a life of gangsterism, and he became the world's best rugby player 20 years ago. The arts in our country have always been seen as less important than sport, but we dare not accept that. I come from the Khoi and the San people who have been discriminated against. Many have tried to rob them of their history, but the paintings that they left on rock walls stand as testimony to this day and as a title deed. So art is timeless, art is truth. When our freedom fighters were locked up, people were banned, and our voices were suppressed. The voices of Hugh Masekela, Miriam Makeba, and Jonas Gwangwa told the world through song that it is not yet Uhuru in South Africa. Music could go when Nelson Mandela could not. This is the power of arts and culture. When we saw the Paralympians this month, many saw a team of people with disabilities. I saw a group of inspirational people who could rise above their personal circumstances. KG Monchani won the women's wheelchair doubles trophy at Wimbledon on Sunday. And that is a reminder that we as South Africans, we can and often do rise above whatever circumstances are to achieve, if you want to achieve greatness. Other highlights this year include the recognition of the Springboks, many achievements at the South African Sports Awards 2024, while Kirsten Nishafer won Sportswoman of the Year for triumphing in the Golden Globe race. She was the first ever woman to win any round-the-world sailing race and was awarded Sportswoman of the Year. We shall continue to showcase our South African sports stars. Jasneem Solomons won the pool championship. She's a world champion, a young lady from Bonteheuwel, a stone's throw from here. As I said, we shall continue to showcase our South African sports stars by also hosting the Ministerial Outstanding Sports Performance Accolades, the Andrew Mlangeni Green Jacket Award, and the G-Sport Award for that honor women in sport. House Chair, we need to give our young people every opportunity to shine and win awards themselves. My predecessor in the department, Honorable Zizi Kodwa, rightly recognized that our school sports system is fragmented and split among government-supported programs, federations, and private schools. Private schools are the only schools in South Africa that has sports for the children. And that is a fact that many of us don't want to hear. The kids of poor people, only 8% of all kids in South Africa, school-going age, are involved in school sport. The former minister held the school sports in Daba that resolved that a comprehensive blueprint for school sports should be developed. We must take this forward with a new delivery model to be implemented. So school sport is one of the #1 things on our agenda. We will be reaching out to the Department of Basic Education to bring back physical education as a standalone subject at schools. We will also need a new national oversight body for school sport with support from DSEC, the DBA, SASCOC, to create one seamless system for the development of sport in schools. The most recent million is set to be transferred to a targeted 50 national sports nation sub-program. House Chair, let me be clear. We are also prioritizing arts and culture throughout our country, including in our schools. Over the medium term, 1.2 billion is being allocated to the Mzansi Golden Economy sub-program in arts and culture, promotion and development. These funds will be used, Madam Chair, will be used to create more than 60,000 job opportunities in the cultural and creative sector. Of this allocation, 69.4 million is earmarked for placing more than 1,000 artists in schools over the next 3 years, with the aim of developing and improving art teaching and skills. The Presidential Employment Stimulus was launched in October 2020 to mitigate the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic across all sectors. Thus, the program reached into creative industries realized through the creative industry stimulus, which is allocated 351 million in 2024-2025 to create about 30,000 jobs. Our Recreation Development and Sports Program has an allocation of 4.1 billion over the MTF period. Of this amount, 1.2 billion is within the Infrastructure Support Sub-Program, and 1.9 billion is channeled to the Mass Participation and Sports Development Grant. The grant supports programs such as the Move for Health Day, the National Indigenous Games Festival, our National Recreation Day, which will be integrated with the Big Walk, the Nelson Mandela Sports and Culture Day, and various outreach programs, including my own as the Minister. No discipline will be ignored in our department, including stick fighting and other indigenous games will be treated with the respect that they deserve. The Kaapse Klopse will no longer be treated as an irritant because we know firsthand the importance and the important role that the Kaapse Klopse is playing. We will be recognizing also the distinctly South African mix of culture and heritage. Guma music, which was sang by our people during their hardest times, is a genre that is dying. Guma music shall be revived. We shall help Guma music not to die out. The grant enables provincial departments responsible for sports and arts and culture to offer development and support programs for talented and high-performance athletes. Accordingly, 46.8 million is allocated to encourage the development of young people through supporting 90 school sport leagues at the district level, and 80.9 million is allocated to enable 4,000 of them to highlight their skills at events such as the National School Sports Championship. An estimated 53.1%, which comes up to 2.2 billion of the Recreation Development and Sports Promotion Program budget over the next 3 years, is within the Active Nations sub-program. In 2024-2025, 40.2 million is allocated for supporting 90 organized community-based sport and recreation activities, and 78.4 million is allocated to provide sports equipment and clothing to schools, hubs, and clubs to enable participation in sport and recreation. It cannot be when our children are competing with private schools, then our children should worry about how they look. Each province will be running athlete development programs for emerging high-performance athletes over the medium term. Allow me to mention, House Chair, that as the new minister, I'm encouraged that the department has responded so warmly to my personal enthusiasm for emerging motorsport of spinning. Spinning shall be recognized, formalized, professionalized with the assistance of this department. The department is committed to upskilling and transforming the sport, arts and culture sector. This involves building capacity through bursaries, internships and incubator programs. Over the medium term, 150 million is allocated to support 66 capacity building projects in the cultural and creative sector. 16.7 million is allocated in the National Language Services sub-program in arts, culture, promotion and development to award language bursaries to 420 university students. Language is important. I met with the Tal Museum management yesterday, House Chair, and I assured them that Afrikaans will take its rightful place amongst all other languages. Afrikaans will not be treated as it is currently being treated. Afrikaans is the language of the people that are the second most population-wise in South Africa. And I gave them the assurance that I will make sure that Afrikaans is not being treated better than any other language, but it will not be treated worse than any other language. An estimated 45.1%, which is 8.4 billion, of the department's budget over the medium term is within heritage promotion and preservation. Of this amount, 5 billion is earmarked for the Community Library Services grant through the Public Library Service sub-program. We have to help the Department of Basic Education. We have children that can't read, that have reached the age of 11. We must not ignore that. We will make sure that we spend money when it comes to helping our children to read properly. Reading properly is one of the biggest aims that we intend with the Community Library Services grant. And 2.1 billion is set to be transferred to museums for the operations through the Heritage Institution sub-program. The department has a number of key heritage projects still under development, some more successful than others, which we shall be visiting and in an attempt to better understand the circumstances. We'll financially support the South African Institute for Drug-Free Sport and ensuring that commitments to the World Anti-Doping Agency and the Regional Anti-Doping Agency are upheld annually. Boxing South Africa. South Africans love boxing, and Boxing South Africa as a public entity for this department will continue to be supported by us and regulated while we work to boost this sport, particularly by making its practitioners more independent and to return our boxers to being global stars. We'll also be providing accessible infrastructure to communities by constructing more community gyms and play parks, as well as multi-purpose sports courts. It cannot be that there's an area where children are and there's no play park. It cannot be. We are going to make sure that that is a thing of the past. House Chair, there are numerous vacant posts in the department, which have in effect been managed for practical reasons through hiring contract workers to perform essential roles and tasks. Some of this is a legacy from the merger of the former Department of Sport and Department of Arts and Culture. But this administration must now bed down these changes permanently and coherently. We're addressing this matter as we'd like to see the vacancies eliminated and competent people given the assurance of full-time employment in sports, arts and culture. The position of the Director General remains vacant and is amongst other prioritized positions to be filled by this financial year. This year, the department will finalize the organizational design project that was started in the prior year. Finally, this department will be resuming its role of repatriating the remains of numerous fallen struggle soldiers in other African countries. My mother saw a brother the last time he went to Angola. My mother died a broken woman because we don't know what happened to our beloved Uncle Joe. And I've made it a mission that the mothers, the brothers and the sisters of the fallen heroes that are buried in Zimbabwe, Lusaka, and other parts of the world shall be returned, because I don't want them to die like my mother died. So that work will continue. Finally, as I close, I would like to reflect on something that's on everybody's lips.
Honorable Minister, I would really like you to, 5 seconds.
5 seconds. All right. I'll answer this in a question, but I just want to say that South Africa is a great country with great people. We've got people like Tyler, people like McKenzie, people like Tasneem Solomons. I hereby table the budget for 2024-2025 financial year. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, the Honorable the Minister. I will now invite ANC, Honorable Khabe. I'm told it's also his maiden speech.